Welcome to the Saturday edition of the Goal Post. I'm your host, Oluwamayowa. I'm not alone. I have Gideon making a return. The last time we spoke last week Saturday. More like the weekend round up, and we discussed a whole lot of things that has to do with, what has happened in the world of football throughout the week. The week started out with Nigeria getting knocked out of the WAFCON. We failed to get to the semi-final of the WAFCON, which by implication means that we will not be going. We will not be going automatically to the World Cup. Now there was a playoff that happened on Thursday. Nigeria lost to Cameroon. Nigeria lost to South Africa again. A whole lot of people, I've been sad about it, and it seems the male team they are not going to the male team not qualify for the World Cup. It seems the female team has decided to do same thing as the male team. What's your take on this? And overall, what do you think is the way forward for the Super Falcons and Nigeria as a whole?
Okay, let me start by saying they've disappointed the nation,
Hmm.
basically, factually, from what has happened of recent two World Cup editions for the male team, and they were not in attendance. The one in 2022 in Qatar, the one that just finished in July, the male team was not there. And yet again, we have the female team crumbling to. I don't think they are even going to the World Cup because they lost to South Africa. I think that's the end of the road for them. So it's a big slap actually, giving Nigeria and the kind of picture people see as per their football ecosystem. Nigeria is one of the best teams. They have one of the best talent in Africa and one of the best too in the world. It's just incompetent and the football body. That's another problem that they have. So the talent, with the players, I think they have them in numbers. So I think the disappointed nation, like I said earlier, and nothing to say, nothing to add. They just have to pick up themselves and do better next time. The WAFCON is gone for the female team. The World Cup qualification, I think the playoff is gone. They lost to South Africa. So I think they just focus on the next big thing, but they have to be, I say they have to be clarity. They have to know what they are doing going forward to avoid the same mistake. So they have to learn from their mistake and hope to do better next time.
Well, yeah, I mean, you mentioned something that's very, very important that, this is a time for us to, to go back to the drawing board and get it right. However, let's look
Yeah.
at the coach. In that very important game, you decided to play Francesca Odega that you did not trust for the last 5 games. Remember, and the most shocking thing is this: Nigeria played 5 games at this particular tournament, including the playoff, and we only won just two, and we lost 3 games in 90 minutes. Nigeria has never performed that poorly. Another thing was Nadozie continues to make a mistake, and it seems the coach do not, the coach cannot make tough decisions or tough calls. So if you look at our team, how our team are playing, don't you think yes, some of the players don't live up to standard. Don't you think this is more of the coach's fault? Because I mean, if you would ask me, the coach picked the 26-man squad.
Okay. I'll start by saying this. The the coach or the head coach of the Super Falcons, not just the Super Falcons. I think the head coaches of almost all the from the Super Eagles to Super Falcons to the under 17 and all of it. To the best of my knowledge, I don't think even that squad they are picking, the 26-man squad, I don't think is independent. I think there's an influence from the outside on who to pick, on who to play too, because you cannot tell me that you as a head coach is seeing what Chiamaka Ladozie was doing according to what you said. making silly errors and all of it, and he was just there, nothing to do, nothing to make, no corrections, no it's no proper. And he also playing certain players that are not fit, that have not lived up to the stats for that particular game is another thing to consider. A player that has show shows a player shows and shows you certain things, and to you as a coach, you still play this particular player when there are better options on the bench is something to look out for again. So I don't think he's operating on his own scale. If he's on his own scale, that be very very bad for him. So to me, like I said before, I think he's operating based on an external influence. There's something external going on. He's not operating as the external produce influence from the outside. So that's the way I see it.
Okay, that's fantastic. I mean, so what do you think should be the next line of action? Um, we are not going to the World Cup. Definitely this definitely a low point for us in our football. What do you think the NFF needs to do to ensure that our female football gets back to the level it has been? It doesn't make any sense. We won the last tournament. Now we are not even going to the World Cup.
Okay. They are still defending champion. Pending when they'll play the final tomorrow. The Super Falcons, they're still defending champion. So for the female team, I think it's something similar, just as the male team. They just have to do something very very similar. What they need to do, they need structure. I mean structure from the NFF down to the least body as regards female football in Nigeria. And this doesn't just end with the Super Falcons. We have we have the under 20, we have the under 17 female football teams too. So those teams from the Super Falcons to the ones below them, the male team to the ones below them, they need structure and clarity, intentionality going forward. Now they are out of the AFCON, no World Cup for them in 2027 in Brazil. What are they doing next? Another AFCON is coming up soon. So they need to, as I said, they need structure. Now, what are your plans going forward? What are your plans going forward? What do you need to do to correct the narrative to learn from your mistakes? That's what they need to do now. We have to put the past behind it now and focus on the present and the foreseeable future. So I think with that and discipline, consistency, and hope, I think they will get to that level where they will be envied once again in the global space in football.
Okay, yeah. So still sticking with this particular topic, because I mean it's a very painful topic for Nigerians. You would expect that at the kind of level
Definitely.
we have been to, we should not be struggling to qualify for the World Cup. Madugu came out in a very emotional press conference, and he was talking about the place of preparation, but that you cannot have an half done preparation and you expect the team to come out swinging. Also, a whole lot of people complained about the friendlies and the rest of that the team did not have adequate preparation. And the NFF chairman came out to say that they don't have any fund. They don't have enough fund to be able to organize friendly, that the cost of friendly was too much for them. Um, I mean, don't you think our failures on the pitch was more of the NFF not living up to their own side of the bargain?
I said it before. I made it. I've said structure, structure over time. And when you asked the very first question, I said something that the problem is not from the team primarily. The problem is from that footballing body, that's the NFF. The NFF has a role to play, a very big one. You saying as the football body of the biggest, of the most important country in Africa, how will you say you do not have funds to drop for what's it called, for friendly games for your senior female football team for the biggest and most important country in Africa? No, I mean, who are you saying all those ones to? I mean, their allocations. FIFA can allocate funds to you guys. I
Sorry.
don't know how.
Sorry. Let me dive into that further. I mean, you mentioned funds now. Let's dive into that further before you
Yeah.
break it down for us. Um, the last WAFCON that we won, CAF gave the NFF
Okay.
$1 million for winning that particular title. Those that will win the WAFCON
Okay.
this year, they get $2 million. So, I mean,
Okay.
you mentioned money. There's allocation from FIFA. There's allocation there is money from the win of the last WAFCON. There is money from the federal government. So the question is this: where did all those money go that we didn't see the impact in our Super Falcons?
Okay. I'll keep away. I'll keep away the price tag from what they got from the last one. Let's keep that aside. FIFA, CAF, and the federal government, to the best of my knowledge, they do allocate funds for the female national team and for the male national team.
Hmm,
Not just football, for basketball and other sports like that. Now, this money, where what are they using this money for? It's not like they are building one stadium or they are renovating one particular stadium that we don't know of. So where is this money going to? The money, okay, now let's stay with price the price tag they got from the last one. I mean the female national team. Where did that money go to? Where is the fund? Just like in the last AFCON, there was a game. I cannot remember that particular game, but there was a game there was a game they were preparing for. So days to that game, those players said they were not going to train because of certain bonuses they never got for. So I mean, it's a big slap. It's a big slap to it, and it's a disgrace too to the nation, to the players. They are just washing their dirty linen outside, and it's not something to write home about. You say you don't have money to drop for friendly. No, I mean that's rich you could see as a country named Nigeria. Say you don't have money to drop for friendly. So where all this money that FIFA and CAF and federal government has been giving, there's where this money going to?
hmm,
The answer is simple. It's corruption. It's embezzlement. They are embezzling this money. And the embezzlement did not just start from that particular government parastatal. It starts from the top echelon, and then these ones too are doing theirs because everybody wants to eat.
hmm,
Everybody wants to eat, but greed and me. I'm
hmm,
in that corridor of power. I have to. So I think that's another big issue we are facing as a nation. So corruption is not something from NFF, but now we are saying with football. This is not discussing. Those money is either is being embezzled. It's not either. It's being embezzled. People that are eating the money are not supposed to be doing that. Those money were allocated for certain things to fund some certain things like this players' welfare,
hmm,
to organize friendlies, probably to renovate one of these government facilities. Come to National Stadium Surrey and see how bad that place is.
hmm,
I don't think there is any plan to renovate that place anytime soon.
hmm,
Just opposite National Stadium, the Kebalogo Stadium.
hmm,
Also bad. I don't think there are plans to renovate that. This Nigeria, they have so many stadiums. I mean, stadiums that, and from the look of things, I don't think Nigeria will host any minor tournaments. I mean, African minor tournaments soon because of even the one in Uyo. That one is just okay. Basically, let's accept. There are things that stadium will not take. There is
hmm,
no the media house where journalists do interviews with players and coaches. It's not up to the standard. They still use the traditional style of displaying
hmm.
adverts from sponsors and all of it. So I mean, we have a lot to do. A very big revolution has to be made as regards Nigerian football. And if we want to go far, we need that revolution from the head to the toe. Everything is scattered. you cannot point to a part of Nigerian football when you say this one is kind of it's better. No, from the top to the bottom, you need changes. You need changes. Honestly.
Okay, that's fantastic. Yesterday, if you go to the official page of the NFF, they released a press statement surrounding the failures of why we did not qualify, why the Falcons did not qualify for the World Cup. They decided to set up a fact-finding committee um to uncover the reason why we didn't qualify for the World Cup. As if it's not obvious to the blind that it was lack of preparation. Now in that committee we have Desire Okparanoze, former player of Super WAFCON, former player of the Falcons. We have Fani Amu, Ambassador Fani Amu, the coach that led us to victory in Japan 1993. We have Ladamboso and a whole lot of other people. What do you think the fact-finding commission, the fact-finding committee we find when you and I know exactly what the problem is?
There's nothing really special about the committee and those that they've chosen to go through that route. There's nothing really special. They just want to put it in the faces of various Nigerians that we've, we've heard your cry, we've seen what you all are saying on different social media platforms, and now we are ready to take certain steps that to people that know how this thing actually works, that those things they are deceit to me because we know where the problem is coming from. The problem is not the fact finding committee. What did they want to find out exactly? There is nothing they want to find out that we've not seen. And those people that came up with those ideas that they should set up a committee to find out why the Super Falcons never did well in the AFCON and their failure of qualifying for the next World Cup. Those people, like, it was very, very strategic. The person that came up with that idea, maybe it was one person, maybe there were multiple of them. It was very, very strategic. They just want to put it in face of Nigerians that, we are doing our own assignment. All those things it will end on paper. It will not move more than paper. See what we found out. Maybe later in the coming week, in the coming month, they will say, this is what we came up with. This is the findings. But the greater thing is not what you guys have found out. The greater thing is that all these things we know about it. What are your deliberate and honest plans? I mean, the solution to all this problem is what to make Nigerians happy. The youth are demanding results. They are demanding accountability. So you telling us that you are setting up this thing, you're just who are you deceiving? You may deceive other people, but people that knows how this thing actually works. Like you and I, you know that those things are they are just fugazi. So solution is the new deal now. What are you guys going to come up with that could change the narrative? Because it's a very, very, very it's bad. 2026, the men did not go for did not go to the World Cup. 2027, Brazil, so female national team will not be in attendance too. So what which solution are you coming up with? Which solution is the main question. Not today we are looking you set up a committee to do no. We all know how this thing actually works. So I think solution is what they should come up with. Solution, not just solution they will come and see and it will end on paper and it will end in press conference, media outfit and all of it, newspaper headlines and all of it. I mean, solution that we will see in actionable solution, not something you just say and it will end. You have to see it on the pitch. You have to see it in other things you guys are doing, from the friendlies to just everything structurally. We have to see those. We have to see. We've been changing to social ecosystem. They've they've done they've modified this. They've done that, and probably will be impressed with that. Then when they step on the pitch again after all this um hands have been met, then From there, we will now know how well to judge you, that
Hmm.
to criticize you constructively or to criticize you destructively. So that's all I have to say about that.
Okay, that's fantastic. Still sticking on this. The NFL president is up for election next month. The election happens in the next 20, 25 days, if I'm not mistaken, from now. Sometimes in September. And
I think it's more
17th,
than a month, more than a
yeah, the election happens in September, sometime in September.
about
Um,
26.
yeah, September 26th, yeah. About give or take about
40
30
days. 40 days.
about 40 days from now. So I mean,
Yes, sir.
um 17 state FA chairmans, they've come out to say they are backing Gusau. That's number one. Number two, it seems Gusau will be going unopposed. The list of failures of Gusau is very evident. Olympics will not qualify. Under 17 World Cup and the AFCON we did not qualify. Um, the Super Eagles did not qualify for the World Cup. The Super Falcons did not defend their WAFCON title. They are not going to the World Cup. Our age grade team, they are practically non-existent, and Gusau still wants an re-election. What do you make of this? And where does the place of accountability comes in when 17 state FA chairman are coming out to back this plethora of failure for another 4 years?
I think this Gusau election and the whole thing is re-election in going unopposed. I don't think is now. I don't think those 17 FA state chairmen are now doing it based on football and result as per what this man has achieved so far in the last 4 years he's been in office. I think they are doing this thing based on politics and who is my man, what I'll stand to benefit when he returns back to office. Everything is now politicized. It's not based on football and results now. It's now based on reforms. It's now based on reforms now, not results. So this 17, like just like you said, the 17 FA chairman that come out to back Ibrahim Gusau to return as the NFF president. To me, because it's very very evident to the blind and even the deaf to see it that this man has not done anything really. He has not done
Hmm.
anything convincing to go back to office for 4 years. But I mean, this is Nigeria, and the way the country operates across all its ecosystem and regards politics, but now it's football politics. Football and politics is not supposed to be in a straight line. But now mixing football and politics is where the problem lies. They saying Gusau decides to go for another 10 or 4 years in the office as NFF president is is glaring that they are doing this thing based on politics, not based on football and what this man has achieved. Your your your
Hmm.
your men's senior team did not qualify for the World Cup. Your female senior team did not qualify. Your under 17 WAC, the Olympics, the same thing. I can go on and on and on. So tell me five things that are basically convincing that Gusa have done in the last 4 years that you can beat your chest and you are so convinced that I believe in this man and I believe he will do more. Because one thing about offices like that, especially when you sit in corridors of power like that, is that when you are good, the people honestly, deliberately want you to move on, go for another thing because you've done well in the first thing. But he as a person should know better that you've not done so well. Oh. And given the fact that you've not really done anything significant, the best thing to do is just to pay your resignation letter, go back and go and fill up that lacuna, then come back much better to come and stand election. Maybe at that time you've done something, maybe go back to the grassroots and go and do something. You can go and stay, you can go and stand election as maybe a football association chairman or something. And do something people see, do something significant. Or no, everybody wants to be NFF president. Then he doesn't he's not capable of that office. Honestly speaking, Luta is
Hmm.
not capable of that office. There are other competent people that are capable that may do the work very, very diligently and we will receive results. There are other people. I mean, there are good people in Nigeria.
Uh, but, but, but,
Nigeria
but,
is
but, but,
bad.
but, but the question is this: if it's going on unopposed, it means the so-called good people are not even showing up. I mean,
Definitely.
how is Gusau? How see? I understand the fact that 17 stated FA chairman might want to back Manchester, but with this kind of result, you would expect that by now 5, 6 other people would have tendered their interest, would have submitted their interest, would have shown interest that they want to kick this man out of office. Gusau is practically running unopposed. That is the most interesting thing about this story.
What I would say about I would say that that institution is corrupt. So I don't know how it operates in that scale. But from to the best of my knowledge, I feel like they paid off those that ever had interest. That I want to stand as NFF president, or I don't know if the way they subdue those ones so as not to come out and stand for because NFF structure NFF is corrupt. That's just the truth. There's no better way to say it. Nigeria Football Federation is a very, very corrupt institution. It's not like
Hmm.
corruption starts from them. I said it before. It never started from the Nigeria, but the NFF is a very, very corrupt institution. So being corrupt says a lot about you. Even
Hmm.
this man that is being unopposed and the 17 FA chairmen that are backing him, they see something going on back in that you and I don't know about.
Hmm.
It's very, very obvious. You've not done anything significant, but just like that, 17 FA chairmen are backing you to go for another thing. No, something is happening now. Something is definitely happening. So the institution being corrupt it says a lot. And to get rid of that corrupt nature of that institution, they have to do a revolution. They
Hmm.
have to they have to change a whole lot of things,
No, okay,
a
okay.
whole
So,
lot.
so, so, so see, Gideon, you mentioned something about revolution, and I want to get your thoughts on that. We all know that various state FA chairmen, they are the one that gather together to elect somebody. Um,
Yeah.
about a couple of years ago, I did a street pop, asking people's opinion about, do you even know the person that run your football association in your state? I polled a couple of 50, 60 people, and only 2 persons responded that they know their state FA chairman. Don't you think it's high time, if you want to get it right at the top, don't you think it's high time we start from the grassroots, from the state FA chairman, from each local government, to put people who are actually interested in running football in those positions? Because that will translate into each state having people, you know, who have what it takes, who have the passion or the interest in running football.
Yes, just just like you said, the greater aspect of football lies in the grassroots, even if they don't have the audience. Grassroots football is one place where you can see almost everything you are looking for as regards what football is. That's the grassroots football. So back to the state FA and the kind of the part they have to the part they have to train before getting to that particular position. I mean, state FA and probably regional FA or so, then the position of the president of the Nigeria Football Federation. I think it has to come with a whole lot, like education, like trainings, like what's it called? Symposium, calling for people going to do surveys. What do you know as regards football management, football administration? Which what have you done? Which certification do you have? What can you do? What do you think can change the Nigeria football ecosystem at the national level? What do you think? Because there are certain things you have to do. There are certain things not just to do. There are certain things you have to know. There are certain things you are capable of. There are certain things you are in which capacity have you managed something like this before from the grassroots? Because someone like Gusa, I don't know his story, but I don't think that man has managed something as little as let's say the coordinator for a particular local government football association. I don't think he's managed it because if he has, you can like the failure of this man is very very obvious. The failure is very very obvious. If you have your senior male team and your senior male team and your senior male team not going to the World Cup, I mean, it says a lot about you. Not to talk
Hmm.
of the under 17 and the under 20 and the under 23 and then the Olympic team. No, 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 no. Something has to be done. So from the grassroots,
Hmm.
there has to be a template for those that want to. Because I know there are courses, diploma courses that people can do if you want to venture into football administration. So if they are costly, it's just that those courses, people don't really take those courses. That's number one. Then the interest is number two. Then number three is the when you see the magnitude of corruption and embezzlement and all of it. At times, some people will have the interest and just feel discouraged. Oh,
Hmm.
now my person go sit down for that seat. Yes, my person go sit down for that seat. You as an ordinary man, very, very like who are you to say you want to stand as the president of the Nigeria Football Federation? You're just a nobody. And I'm not trying to say a nobody cannot stand. Someone can just emerge and all of a sudden get the interest of the majority of people. But this is Nigeria and we have to stay in reality. You cannot just it's very, very hard to break out as a nobody, then you walk your way down to that seat of the NFF again. It's very, very hard. It's
Hmm.
very, very hard. Just like you saying nobody will just be made one day and be the president of Nigeria. That's how this thing works.
Hmm.
That's how this thing works. There are things you have to do. There are dues you have to pay, and to pay dues you have to stay in your hands. You cannot get to that. You cannot get to that. This is Nigeria. You cannot get to that seat and you can get to that seat and be holy. I'm not disputing that fact, but it's very, very rare, and you hardly see that kind of a thing happen. You get to that seat
Hmm.
and are just there. So many things you would have done, so many things you would have faced so many deals, you would have um, you would have done things that your superior, and you'll be answering to someone. You cannot be doing it alone. You must have there's this thing called Godfatherism. Yes, it's very, very rampant in politics. And we're talking about the Nigeria Football Federation in question now. So you have to have a godfather. And this your godfather too is answering to another godfather. So everybody has godfather, everybody has like just like this NFL president is obviously answering to someone.
True.
The person that will come after him will answer to someone,
True.
probably he himself and others. So I think that's really this thing works. So that's when I say revolution has to start from not just the football, the footballing body. It has to start from our government, federal government in particular, the federal government in particular. But that's by the way. The NFF in question now, just like I've said and said today, is a very, very correct institution. So
Hmm.
we have to be intentionality going forward if we want to achieve more. But the more we still see this particular this obvious thing play out repeatedly over and over again, I think the same result we will still get the same results over and over again and thereafter.
That's interesting. Still staying on the local scene as we take our last story. Um, there are reports that Arsenal is interested in Osimhen. However, um, the report about Arsenal's interest in Osimhen, I mean, there has been a conversation between Galatasaray and Arsenal as regards maybe Victor Goycores or Martinelli going over, then Osimhen crossover. However, Osaze Ozemwenge has reacted to Osimhen's outburst again. It seems Osimhen cannot control himself. He's a talented player, but his outbursts, his attitude while playing is always, he's always taking away from that shine. What do you think Osimhen needs to do? Don't you think it's high time, he seeks out a psychology or something to ensure that, he's able to tame the most time? A lot of people are defending and saying, he's a very passionate footballer and just all that. We've seen passionate footballers that don't, have this continuous outburst. It seems this outburst is becoming too rampant. What do you think the solution can be?
Okay, Victor Osimhen is you cannot take away the fact that he's a very very talented player, he's a talented footballer, very very bright. Um, that's something nobody can take away from him. On the other hand, too, he came from poverty. That's
Hmm.
another point to take note of. He came from great poverty. He lost his mom at a very very young age. Sold here in traffic in Lagos, sleeping in a very very small apartment. So I think psychologically those I mean his past life still stays the same. So, and I think that life now transcends to the kind of attitude we are seeing about him sometimes on the pitch and sometimes off the pitch. So, what I will say as regards that is that he should seek a psychologist. Yes, he should seek a psychologist because so a player of that magnitude is not supposed to be acting like that. I believe I know very well he's Nigerian and he has his life to live. But you being a
Hmm.
celebrity, because he's obviously a celebrity, and being you're like a face, you're like a role model with others seeing, people are learning from you, people are seeing you, are, oh, Peter Osimhen, I want to be like him someday. So him acting like that is not a good similar for people to embrace. So I think you seeing a psychologist and when the proper thing is counseling and otherwise, I think we get back to the kind of player we want to be seeing. Though he has his life to live there again, and then the thing with him going to Arsenal and all of it. I think I don't think we go to Arsenal because I don't go to Arsenal even if because years ago he said he wants to play in the Premier League. He said
True.
it before. And Manchester United looked like one club that wanted to bring him in, but it never happened. There was a time Chelsea also were in the market for him. It never happened. So the people are advising him go to Barcelona, go to even Barcelona were in the market for him one time like that. But me, I will not advise him to go to Real Madrid. If me and to advise him, I will not advise him to go to Real Madrid for now because even because Osimhen is 36, 37 now, I think. Going to Real Madrid now, your starting spot is not guaranteed to you.
But
You
Madrid is not
cannot.
interested in. I think it's more of Arsenal that's interested in. It's more of Arsenal that's talking about, bringing him in.
Okay. If it's Arsenal has Victor Gyökeres as a striker. There is Kai Havertz there. There is Gabriel Jesus there too. So even going to Arsenal now, it still seems like it's somehow to me because they have three strikers currently. Because
Hmm.
Gyökeres is also right. It's not like it's bad. Kai Havertz is a utility player. You can play him away from the position of nine. So he going to Arsenal now, I don't think it's something that will really work well for him, given the kind of players that are in that position currently. But if there is an offload, let's say Jesus leaving and probably just like you said, a swap between Usime and either Kayaba or Gyökeres, I mean the other way, the opposite side, better. You know, we have two strikers in Arsenal, Usime and probably Victor Gyökeres or Kayaba. Hopefully Kayaba, because Victor Gyökeres and Victor Osimhen, they kind of play similar football. It's just that Victor Osimhen is someone that is more better when the ball is coming on the air. That's the strength. He has that one more than Victor Gyökeres if it's that one. But if Victor Gyökeres is in Arsenal, Kai Havertz is in Arsenal, Liverpool is in Arsenal, and Arsenal is in the market for Victor Osimhen. I don't think it's a good decision for him to go to Arsenal now. Because it's not like you say he can play from the wing. He cannot play from the wing. He's a natural man. So
Hmm.
even those three players in Arsenal, Osimhen going to Arsenal now is not a good decision for him. To me, that's the way I say it.
Oh, okay. That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Gideon. It's always amazing chatting with you. Anytime we are chatting, time is always running fast spent. I mean, it's always nice reviewing the week with you. I mean, this is more like the weekend roundup where we discuss everything that has to do that happened in football throughout the week, and it's always amazing having you here, Gideon. Before we go, just a quick one. Malawi Cameroon tomorrow. Who do you think wins it?
It's a very, very tough decision because just last week we were discussing about this same Cameroonian side. The Cameroonian side, they won defending champions. Even the two teams in this final, the two teams in this WAFCON final
They
won
beat the
Nigeria.
defending champion. Yeah.
Malawi champions. And I said something last week, and I'll repeat myself again. This Cameroonian side, they don't really play anything special, but they have a very, very strong defensive network. And that's what they use against Morocco. They never play anything. In fact, they had less than 40% possession of the ball in that game. But they were very, very deliberate and they knew what they were doing. They took the Atlas Lioness to the penalty and they prepared for that penalty. Because seeing the display, they won 3-1 and they were in the WAFCON final. So the both teams, Malawi, nobody saw Malawi coming to the final, then Cameroon. So it's a very, very tough position. Then on the Scotters, they've had a pretty tournament. I mean, this is their first major tournament, first final, first World Cup qualification. They are ranked 153rd in the world, and yet here they are in the WAFCON final. I think anything that comes out tomorrow, and cheers and
You don't
congratulations
you don't
to
want to
the
stick
head
your neck
coach.
out.
Uh, anything that happens tomorrow,
You have turned to Gusao. You
hats
don't want
off,
to stick your neck out.
hats off to the head coach, Lover Mazili, and certain players like Temwa Chawinga, sister Tapita Chawinga, and the lady that got red card. It
Kazare.
was, yeah, something like that. So hats off to them, but it will be very, very great to see them crown their efforts with our contact. I mean, the Scotters.
So
If
so
they win,
eh, so you are going for
yes.
Malawi to win.
If they win, it's good for them because it's very, very surprising. Coming as they like this is like the yes. Yes, this is the biggest movie aimed as trash. An underdog coming from the female football or the female football system in Africa. The female team coming from that particular sport and coming to the final while defeating the defending champion in the very, very opening game. They won Algeria. They won Algeria. They won Ghana. And they're in the final now. So it's something to both teams have done well getting to this stage where they are. So if Malawi wins the game, like I said, good for them. It is the indomitable lioness that will emerge victorious. Still good for them. But all in all, I wish both of them the best. Not just in the final, also when they will represent Africa in the 2027 Women World Cup in Brazil. So I'll be looking forward to that game actually, and we'll just see what comes out of it. Into something that the Super Falcons they would have been like, oh, maybe they will have done something significant, but they are not there. So Malawi, Cameroon, anybody that wins, I'm okay with it. So
Oh, oh,
I'm sitting on the fence for both teams. Yeah.
okay, okay, that's fantastic. Thank you so much, Gideon. Maybe by the time we meet up next again to do our usual weekend round, maybe by then you'll be able we would have had more clarity on who is going to win. Thank you so much,
But,
Gideon. Have a
yes, sir.
wonderful weekend
Thank
ahead
you,
of
sir.
you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, sir. All right.